talk on Lagos-Ibadan Expressway on education. FG1 school ignoring safety guidelines. These are the issues we'll be looking at today. You can join us on all our media platforms. Facebook Television Network, Instagram and TikTok, Atlantic TV Network 1, X Atlantic TV Net. You can also watch us live on our website, atlanticnetwork.tv. When we return from this short break, I will introduce my guest for today's show. Do stay with us.
We bring on-spot news, live analysis, expert discussions on trending stories in politics, business, socio-economy, sports, and documentaries. So catch all the updates on the happenings around the globe. Stay focused on the fact today, only on ATN.
Back, if you're just joining us, this is Society Watch on Atlantic Television Network, and joining me this afternoon is a public affairs analyst, Chuku C. Ike Chuku. It's good to have you.
Thank you, it's my pleasure.
All right, let's look at the first story for today. From River State, First Lady empower female farmers with Naira. First Lady Valera Siminalari Fubara, the wife of the River State governor, presented 10 million Naira check to 20 women farmers as part of the Renewed Hope Initiative's Women Agricultural Support Program. This initiative, started by Nigerian's First Lady Senator Oluremi Tinubu, aims to boost agricultural yield and improve the living conditions. The event was held at the Government House in Port Harcourt. Mrs. Fubara emphasized the importance of using the funds wisely to increase agricultural productivities and support resolution. Further first will include 18 more beneficiaries: River State Deputy Governor Professor Ngozi Odu and retired Justice Mary Odili. Also praised the initiative and its potential impact on the community. First of all, I'd like to say congratulations to all the beneficiaries of this initiative. Has empowered about 20 women with 10 million Naira to boost agriculture in the state. Of course, we are in that agriculture is very important as inflation has hit everything. What do you think about the First Lady's kind initiative?
I have a quarrel with this type of donation when you consider the...
Really?
Yeah, when you consider the... where it is coming from. Office of the First Lady, as they would say. There is no constitutional provision for such office. These things may just be extra constitutional spending of national money. It's coming from the center. This is the initiative program. This is akin to the Better Life program of the Babangida era, where these things have taken root. One would have thought that as we progress in our democracy, start conforming more to constitutional and provisions, constitutionalism, rather than what seems good. So far, there is no provision for office of First Lady constitutionally. There is no thing called office of the First Lady by the law. It's unknown to the law of Nigeria, and there shouldn't be a budgetary allocation. Where do they get this these monies they keep spending from every time. I mean, even at the national level, you hear that monies were budgeted for the first ladies and all those things. Those are national spendings which does not fall in line with the rule of law. So as long as it violates the rule of law, it's not something to be celebrated. Yeah, it seemingly seems that some people have benefited from it, but overall, how does it help our democratic progression? Yeah, so I don't think it's something to celebrate about.
You actually shocked me with that response, because I know that a lot of persons are saying the government is not doing anything, the governors are not doing nothing, the first ladies are squandering money on the vehicles, on necessary things, according to what people are saying. And then the first lady of Rivers State came up with the idea of 80 farmers, women in particular, to boost agriculture. She didn't think of buying a new SUV with the money. She didn't think of spending it, what's it called, on other unnecessary expenditure. But she decided to put it to empower people. And you are saying that you're not comfortable with this?
This is a code comfort in the sense that a governor is elected, a president is elected, a deputy governor is elected, but the first lady is not elected. The converse, if the president or the governor were to be a lady, the husband is not elected. So the act of governance should be carried out by the elected officials, not their spouse. If these things are pure charity, nobody will raise issues. But the thing is that you may look at it now, these are government monies being spent, and you want us to rejoice. No, let the monies be spent the proper way they should be spent. Let it be properly budgeted and allocated for. Let's crave for doing things in line with it. That will solve most of the problems we have here. Let's know who is spending government money and who is doing charity. That's my take.
It happened that it was the governor of Rivers State that came up with this initiative. You would have welcomed it?
Yeah, sure, because he's the one who is elected to carry out governance in the state.
So you think because he's the wife of the governor, she is not supposed to have this kind of a money in an account?
If it is state money.
But it was not stated here. She only continued what the first lady of Nigeria did.
From my experience from the military era down when this issue of first lady is stated, most of the monies that have been spent are usually, not clearly accounted for, state money or something, So that's the question we should ask.
And then that is why you should first of all appreciate this before you said you are not comfortable, because it's coming from the state.
No, I can't appreciate what I don't know the source.
It was not stated that the money is from the cover of the government. It was not stated here that the money is Rivers State money. But what we have here is that the first lady of Rivers empowered 20 female farmers to boost agriculture in the state, in our country.
What is the source of that empowerment? You see, most of the times we have had opportunistic charity organization coming. By the time you get to power, you all of a sudden your spouse become interested in charity. Before you get to power, what charity work were you people doing? When you leave power, what charity work do you continue to do? The former first ladies, not just in this state, all over the country, that we are all involved in one charity project or the other. After they left power, what has happened to those charity projects? So that raises the question of what was the source and intentions of those charity projects. If it was a genuine charity, you don't have to be in government office to carry out charity work.
So are you saying that because our charity work wasn't part of me, and then I found myself in know that carrying out charity is now something I can do?
No,
I shouldn't do it because I was not doing it before.
If carrying out charity was a part of you, you would have started it, even if it's on a small scale, before you get to power. And when you leave power, your charity work should continue. It shouldn't end with you coming and leaving power.
And what if she was doing it, but the news didn't carry because maybe she was not projected as she is right now?
My concern is, what are the source of this money is being spent?
So the source of the money is the
Yes,
problem here?
Are these government monies? Is it personal monies? If it's government channel through office ladies, then there is a problem. That's my concern.
Why is it a problem? You were in Nigeria and they said snake swallowed money.
Yeah.
You were here.
Yeah.
A lot of persons were saying, oh, if they have used that money to take care of the vulnerables, fix our roads, do this, do that, we wouldn't have complained. How can money just disappear? So even if it's from the office of the governor, and then the wife decided to use it, to empower people.
No, two wrongs don't make it right.
But are you aware that if the first lady has used this money to buy jewelries, that you would have still sit here to complain that the first lady is squandering money?
You see, the thing is that there is a proper way money should be spent.
Tell me the proper way, please.
The proper way is, did it follow the laid down guidelines? Not whether this money is our money, not the money for a particular people. And when I say our money, I mean the state money. So it's like taking your salary and spending your salary the way I like, then buying you some snacks for lunch, and you give me a round of applause for being a kind man. You would have been better off if your money was used for you the way you want it and not me taking it. So that's my concern, is about how we are developing democratically, how we are developing in terms of following the rule of law, and not a deviation from or what ought to be.
So are you saying that the 10 million was not used properly?
The thing is that I don't appreciate anywhere I see, oh, office of first ladies are doing this, are doing that. For me, those things are a distraction from the bigger issue. Let governance be carried out by those we elected to carry out governance, not their family members, not their friends, not their associates. We gave you a job to do it. We didn't give your spouse the job. You are here. Why can't your spouse wake up one morning and come to represent you here? I mean, it won't be accepted.
So in other words, the governor is supposed to do everything.
Everything allowed by the constitution for him to do.
Is the wife of the governor just his wife in the bedroom or in everything?
There is no constitutional provision for the wife of the governor.
So the wife of the governor is not supposed to carry out charity?
A wife or a spouse of the governor is just what he or she is, a spouse of the governor.
Just to bear a name.
That's what the law makes no of the president or governor.
Is there any place in the law that said that as long as you are not in the confine of the power, you shouldn't carry out charity?
Nothing says that, but the truth is the spouses of those in power are not co-elected with them.
Does that have anything to do with extending hand?
Extending hands through which means, you see, we shouldn't confuse things, and we shouldn't give vent to things that don't seem right because there is a coloration of it coming as charity or something good to the people. If it doesn't follow our collectively agreed procedure, no matter how good it seems, let us not give vent.
But this is what the first lady... Anyways, before I ask this is more like you telling me that if you step into my office to give me a gift, I should first of all know where you got the money, which the money passed through before getting the gift, before I collect it.
Well, that is what you're telling me. That's a different scenario, but in some organizations, depending on how sensitive it is, it's actually part of their code of conduct against staff collecting or receiving gifts from would-be clients or customers to avoid a conflict of interest.
Talking about the code of conduct, that is why I am still asking you, is there any place in the law that said if the first lady decides to do charity, as long as it is not in...
There is no place in the law that says a first lady or a first man should do charity in the first place. So if you're doing charity...
And then why are Nigerians crying? Let me find out. They need help. Well, it is our right to get some of these things that people are talking about. The people are talking about that the governor, the federal government is not putting enough in our agricultural sector to be able to boost economy, right? They are not fixing roads for free transportation, right? There's no good water for the people. And then someone comes out. I also know that there are people, whether they're in power or not, as long as they have the money and they choose, okay, this is the road that the federal government is supposed to fix, or the state governor, but they will choose to do that road because it's for their betterment. They are the ones applying the road. And then the first lady didn't just use this money to take care of herself. Rather, these people need this thing, and then she decided to empower people. I feel you are selfish right now, because at least you appreciate what the first lady is doing, but you are not even doing that. You are saying you are not comfortable with this.
I'm not interested or moved by outsourcing governance to friends and spouses of those in government. It's a different thing when a private initiative decides to do charity work, but doing it in the name of, oh, I am related to the government, especially when it's possible that such monies may have come through the government, or some ways that are not clearly explained, is not something we should rejoice about. We have to decide to do things right in this country. I don't know how they got it, but I am not too comfortable with all these issues of first ladies doing this, doing that. For me, they are just a distraction.
Okay, so you're saying that even the first lady of Nigeria is not supposed to do anything. She should just be the wife of the president, stay in there, just be an
elect her. If she does her charity, nobody can hold her responsible for that or not. So we elected a president or a governor, a local government chairman. Let them work, not their spouses. That's my concern. Everything they do, we didn't elect. When you are elected, you are not co-elected with a spouse. If there's anybody you are elected with, it's your deputy and not your spouse.
Wow. Mr. Chukwu, Ike Chukwu, I am. Wow. I don't know the right English to use, but well, okay. Okay, so if you said that the first lady didn't do the right thing, it's okay. That's what you're saying, right?
I'm not saying she didn't do right, but I'm saying I'm not impressed with this story. They are not the news that cheers my heart, because I'm concerned about what government does, not what their spouse
Okay, in other words, let's just put it, because we're here to provide solutions so that they won't be wasting their time, So first ladies are not supposed to be doing anything.
If the money is government money, let the money be channeled through, like you gave example of road. If it is government money, let the money be channeled through the Ministry of Works, Ministry of Agriculture, Ministry of Sport, not through the first or second ladies.
Okay, so if the money was channeled through these offices that you're talking about, and they still empower 20 women, what is the difference between what she has done and what they do?
That's in line with, the difference is that they followed the right channel. We know where it is coming from. We know that this is what the government has done.
Is it about the right channel or about the impact?
It's about the right channel.
What about
you cannot talk about the impact without talking about the process.
What about the
let us not keep pushing forward this theory of end justifying the means. The means is as important
are you also aware that during the palliatives, be it the COVID-19 or after during this removal of fuel subsidy, are you aware that the monies that we released were actually passed through the right process, because we had to follow back to back, and then at the end of the day, we have not heard the beneficiaries. We have not seen them come out to say, yes, we actually received these palliatives. We have not.
Where we are lining up to get palliative and handout. So let's get our governance right. And we can only get it right by asking that things be done properly. No matter how beautiful they seem coming through the back door, we shouldn't always encourage it, because by the time we keep encouraging it because it favors me now, because it looks beautiful, the other guys or even the same people can also come through the back door. And if you have supported the process of backdoor, you can't suddenly start kicking against it. So our standard should be, this is what we have agreed, this is how we have agreed to be governed. Let's be governed through this process.
So what the First Lady has done is through the back door.
It is not about the First Lady. It is not about Rivers State. It is not about, it's about a general Nigerian thing that has been happening as far back as the military era, where we have, we are outsourcing governance to spouses of governors. Like I said, it started during the military era of Babangida, the better life for better life for rural empowerment, whatever. At the end of it, all the jamborees that was done, nothing sustainable happened beyond that era.
You're the head of the house, right?
Sure, yeah.
You have a wife.
Yeah.
Have you ever returned home and see your wife does something and then you're like, wow, I didn't think about that?
Personal life is different. If I am elected as a governor, if I am somebody who seek office, I will be elected, not co-elected with a wife.
Wow. All right, the second story for today is from Delta State. The Delta State High Court in Asaba sentenced Inspector Obi Ebiri of the Nigerian Police Force to death for murder of phone dealer Onyeka Ibe. Justice C.D. Daidi, resident, over the case. Ibe was shot and killed by Inspector Ebiri on April 5, 2023, when he and his wife were stopped for search by the police in Asaba. Ibe attempted to leave after waiting without being attended to, promptly the inspector to open fire, killing Ibe instantly. The incident sparked protests demanding justice. Prosecutor E.A. Edema called the verdict a landmark judgment, while the victim's brother Ifeanyi Ibe praised the court for delivering justice. What do you think about the justice?
When justice is served, it's always something to be glad about. So when you consider how slowly the wheel of justice has grinded in Nigeria, this between 2023 and 2024 seems to be a little bit of a speedy trial. So I think it can go a long way in assuaging the bereaved family that justice has been done for their late brother, husband, father, in-laws. Then also it sends a message to other security personnel that you don't carry out extrajudicial killing. You have to be careful in your official duty. You don't have to take laws into your hands. So I think it's a commendable.
And then in a situation that police are supposed to, of course, it is their right to hold this firearm in order for the security purposes. But in a situation that now use this to threaten people, especially for when it has to do with extortion, because we've heard so many of those stories where the victims lament that the policemen, some of them, would be like, if you don't drop so thing, I'm going to shoot you on your legs. If you don't do this, I'm going to open fire on you. Do you think that this will serve as a deterrent to those other officers, other security personnel who use this gun to threaten the people?
Yes, it may. But another thing with this judgment and any other time this type of judgment has been obtained in Nigeria, how does the police authorities make the amends that people who fell short of the law, this is what met them, like Inspector so perhaps was a fine officer, but when he fell short of the law, committed extrajudicial killing, committed a human rights abuse, this is what happened to him. So be careful. So I think it can go a long way in curbing those excesses, but the police authority has to also have to make sure that their rank and files know about this type of judgment, so it could serve as a caution.
So you think they don't know about this?
I don't know. I'm not in the police, but it takes an effort for a policeman in Rivers State to know what has happened in Delta State, a policeman in Imo State, Kwara State, or wherever to know what has happened in Delta State. So the news should be, so I think they should have a means of, publicizing these things. Much the same way they should also have a means of commending those who have done well, because I also know that there are some very good officers who keep doing well every day, but the stories don't go public, and because they don't go public, it seemed like even within their own system, many may not know. So it's like, are you the one who want to start it? But there are many who are doing it. So it's important that these things be made public so that people, especially those involved, will know that, oh, there's a consequences for whatever action I take.
Okay, and again, the issues of police delaying people unnecessarily on the road. Because that is exactly what led to this. You parked a man, you are not attending to the person, and then the person decided to go. The next thing, you open fire. Maybe the intention wasn't to kill, it was just to, we can't tell, the justice has been passed. That's the most important thing. What do you also think about that? We are here to provide solutions, so we have to talk about almost everything.
Well, the thing is that when you ask, which I have seen severally on the road, you ask people.
Okay, you have seen
severally. Some people felt that, oh, I've been waiting here for maybe 2-3 minutes. Nobody has spoken to me. Why was I parked? Okay. People should know why they are waiting longer. For example, you stopped car A, you stopped car B, you stopped A before B. You have let B go. A is still there. Nobody has spoken to him. So if there's a special reason why he is not let go, I think people should know, because it's possible that there could be a genuine reason why you have not attended to him. I don't know, but there should be a communication. People should know that, oh, for this reason. And also, to be on the safe side, I think if you're stopped that way, before you just zoom off, you can also approach the person who stopped you. Say, hello, sir, I've been here for some time. You seem to have forgotten about me. Maybe you can get him to talk. Or if he won't answer you, if you look around, there may be a superior officer there whom you can approach and say, oh, so I have been here for maybe upward of 5-10 minutes. Nobody is talking to me. What is the matter? So I think it's important this communication is established if you're in that situation, rather than just driving off, because the consequences, yes, we may talk about justice served now, but it doesn't bring back the victim that died. So in order to be alive and to save yourself some of these pains, you can try to establish a communication, get to know the reason why you are being kept before just...
So when you say people should know, I want to understand, people should know as in what aspect, because you are parked by the roadside, Mr. B has gone, and the A that was parked earlier is still there. And you go to meet the police officer, sir, you left me here, I don't know why I'm here, and the person still asks you, the officer asks you to go back to the vehicle. And you are saying people should know. Is it that the passerby should come to ask, or you should make a call?
Passerby, the person involved.
So how do you know?
Because you're trying to save. Yeah, that's why I said, if you approach the guy who stopped you and he's not giving you any reason why he's still keeping you unattended to, or maybe he collected your paper and go over to the other side of the road, he is probably not alone. He has colleagues that are working with him. You can try to get their attention. I've been here for some time.
And what if their attention is not gotten? Because I'm happy that when I brought about this question, you said it's something you have experienced on the road. I've equally experienced that. They just passed us by the roadside. Why are we here? They don't want to answer. We stayed there at the end. The reason was not just reasonable. So that's what I'm asking. If you find yourself in this situation, you know that human beings are naturally not patient. Especially, you might be in, it might be an emergency. But you will explain to these people, they might feel that you just want to escape, all right?
These are the
so how do you tackle this?
These are the reasons we keep asking for, and we should never stop asking for a better society. If there is something like an ombudsman, or I'm trying to remember this name, the Obasanjo government tribe, where you can make a public complaint system. By and large, after you have left there, you can make a formal report, but such should be made public. People should know that, oh, you have this channel to report any grievance against our officer. So if I'm stopped and I don't get the right treatment, it may not be because I'm delayed. It may not just be a case of delay, but it could be that I didn't like the treatment I got from them. I feel I've been unjustly treated. I can rightly make a complaint to this authority. And, you know, like they say, it's not just justice done. Justice should be seen to be done. If I make a report, if there is such channel to report, I report the incident. I should get a feedback that, oh, we received your message and we are handling such cases, or we have handled these cases, this is the outcome, you know, like that, then people would have a guarantee that, okay, I can always, and then the men on the road also knows that, okay, if I don't act well, there is always a superior authority that could watch.
All right, thank you so much, Mr. Chukwu.
Thank you.
Ikel Chukwu. This is Society Watch on Atlantic Television Network. We'll just go on a very short break. When we return, we'll look at the rest of the stories. Do stay with us.
From the line across the ocean to the land beyond the mountains, through the Sahara, we bring honest pop news, live analysis, expert discussions on trending stories in politics, business, socio-economy, sports, and documentaries. So catch all the updates on the happenings around the globe. Stay focused on the fact today, only on ATN.
Every day our lives are changed by history.
We are one people, all of us.
Leaders, politics,
Nobody's ambition is what they blood.
I have fought very firmly.
natural occurrence, war, and the world economy.
I belong to everybody and I belong to nobody.
ATN covers it all on ATN Politics today.
People into the country illegally. That is amazing.
Honorable
You human
on the point of order.
Honorable on them. They are not picking our calls. They made up their minds.
So no agreement with the EU, but
From the line across the ocean to the land beyond the mountains, through the Sahara, we bring honest pop news, live analysis, expert discussions on trending stories in politics, business, socio-economy, sports, and documentaries. So catch all the updates on the happenings around the globe. Stay focused on the fact today, only on ATN.
Welcome back. If you're just joining us, this is Society Watch on Atlantic Television Network, and now the rest of our stories. On Wednesday, Mozoris were stranded on the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway due to blockage caused by livestock sellers at the Kara market. A large truck uploading livestock parked by the highway exacerbated and the traffic jams. With sellers displaying animals on the road, the traffic blockage extended from OPIC headings out of Lagos to Aropo heading into Lagos. The congestion worsened due to the upcoming El Dikabea festival, with buyers parking their vehicles along the road. Stranded motorists criticized the government for allowing the disruption, while a passenger, Moses Uche, blamed both traders and impatient road users. Ogun Traffic Compliance and Enforcement Corps spokesperson Babatunde Kenibiye described the traders' action as greedy and selfish, and mentioned that the agency, along with the police and other bodies, was working to resolve the traffic issues. FRSC officials were also deployed to manage the situation. Of course, the issues of traffic in Lagos is not a new thing. I mean, even though Babajide Sanwo-Olu is working tirelessly to make sure that this is it's a past tense, but for now, the issues of traffic in Lagos, if there is one thing they know Lagos for, aside the beautiful aspect of it, is traffic is dreadlock every given time. And again, if they know that, the truck drivers are not even helping matters. They park anywhere they want to park, apart from the vehicles being breaking down anywhere. So, and they're saying they're blaming the government for this. I mean, is it that sometimes they use our hands to do something, then we blame the governor?
But this is not even Lagos. This
it's
is
not. Yeah.
This is Arepo.
It's Ogun State. Ogun State.
Yeah.
It is not.
Yeah, but you see, anytime people blame government, I don't think it's too much for government to take. These things are signs of failed system. In the first place, the livestock market cannot be at that location or any other location without government approval. And government, whether local government, state, or any other government, and what goes through the mind of government before they give approval for certain things to happen in certain places. For example, before you site your building here, there is something that is called environmental impact assessment. What is the impact of this building on this environment, on this neighborhood? Before you site that market there, what are the likely impacts of that? Shouldn't somebody have foreseen that it could cause traffic or so? That's Lagos Ibadan Express Road we are talking about. I'm very familiar with this axis they talk about. So these things are signs of failed system. Now watch it. Next year you will see a repetition of these things. In fact, if this same Salah holidays were to happen again this year, you will see a repetition of this thing. So what have we learned from this? It's not enough for government officials to come out and tell us the obvious, that the livestock sellers are greedy and these things. No, we knew these things before we decided to create a government, at least theoretically, to say, oh, let there be a government that will submit our authority to, that regulates our activities. So government can either relocate that market or create a better environment within that same axis where this market can operate without the activities disrupting the activities of those who have no business with that market at that point in time. Because this livestock market, every one of us at some point in time would have one business to do with a livestock market, either directly or indirectly. So they are a necessary part of our society, but they must be carried out in such a way that they don't. And it's the same thing with every other business, like you talked about trucks parking along the road. It's not enough to blame the truck drivers. There is a government who should create an alternative to those situation.
Did you say you know about this place?
Yes, I know the place, Lagos Ibadan Express Road. I know the livestock market.
Okay, the market was created last week?
No. You see, the market, it doesn't matter when the market was created. It has always been there. But what I'm saying is that whenever that market was created, there would have been an approval from the government. And what did the government consider before giving that approval? Was there no impact assessment done? I mean, didn't anybody find out that, oh, this market being here would cause so situation? Was there a provision for trucks and other vehicles that will be coming there to be parked and parked on the road? These are the things government ought to have done and can still do. It is not late to create a parking space for this. It is not about how old the market has been. The market would have been there for a century, but the wrongs can be right.
Does it mean that this dreadlock happens every time?
It's a whole mess. The whole road is blocked. So this is also another case where government should step in, and it is not just in this location. In almost everywhere, you see markets and other activities disrupting other social activities. So these are the places where government can step in and create alternatives. So it doesn't matter how long. I know there may be some argument that, oh, these are traditional markets, not necessarily in this case. But whether traditional or not, government can always step in and create either an alternative route for motor, an alternative to the market.
But is it that the government have to come and teach people how to coordinate themselves, or people just have to coordinate themselves?
No, you see, people are expected to coordinate themselves, but we don't rule out the fact that if you leave people to coordinate themselves all by themselves, there are people who have shown over time that they are incapable of control. You see, on a one-way traffic, you see somebody, I mean, there's a traffic building up here, everybody's driving this way, you see somebody driving this way, and he's also expecting people to expecting you to understand that I give a road that he's just going, because some people are incapable of controlling themselves. That's why he sees that, oh, this is a one-way, this is a highway, yet he's facing the traffic. So in that case, you need an external to whip such people to order.
Okay, so with the explanation that you have given, that people know that this is a one-way, they want to pass because they want to meet up one thing or the other, why do we now blame the government for everything?
You see where the problem comes. You have already created an excuse for them because they want to meet up one thing or the other.
No, I'm not creating.
That shouldn't be.
Listen.
That shouldn't be an issue.
Listen.
So the thing is that by law we have agreed that this is a one-way traffic.
Listen.
You don't.
No, listen. I'm not creating excuse. What I'm saying is, someone knows that this is a one-way, and then they decide to apply that way. At the end of the day, when the road is blocked, they will not blame the governor or the government for not giving road. And you know that what you have is one road, and even if you make noise from now till tomorrow, the governor or the government will not come and fix that thing. It means that you have to manage. So I'm asking now, why do we now blame the government for all the mistakes that we do?
You see why the government should be blamed?
Why?
Because we have submitted our authority to the government to regulate society, and there are traffic rules that should be implemented by the government, not individual. Like in this Arequazi is being talked about now, what is the traffic rules around there? Are there rules that forbid truck from parking on the road? So if there are such rules, why would a truck park on the road and the rules will not be applied against them? Why would that guy be driving against traffic? The only reason they drive against traffic is because they are sure in the Nigerian parlance that nothing will happen. If there is a traffic agency like what you see in parts of Lagos, LASMA, standing there to arrest them, the fear of LASMA automatically becomes the beginning of wisdom. And this is why you have agencies everywhere. This is why you have the police in society. Oh, I know that everybody knows that this staff belongs to you and nobody will take it. No, there are some people who will still desire it and won't take it, but because they know there is a consequence for violating that trust, and there is an agency to implement that consequence, they will stay off the crime. So apart from building convenient places, there are also regulations that should make people willingly or unwillingly not to violate the rules.
All right, thank you so much, Mr. Ikechukwu. And on the last story for today, on education, the National Safe Schools Response Coordination Centers under the Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps has urged schools across Nigeria to have safety guidelines, warning of potential sanctions for deliberate non-compliance. Commander Ahmed Abudurin emphasized the importance of the voluntary safe school policy aimed at ensuring security and preventing violence in educational institutions. While the policy isn't legally enforceable yet, the government expects schools to comply willingly. Assistance will be provided to schools facing challenges in adherence. The NSCDC will report deliberate failures to the authority for possible sanctions. Additionally, the government's plan to institutionalize school safety by encouraging higher education institutions to offer a specialized program on the project, recognizing its growing importance, similar to disaster management and peace and conflict studies. Okay, so in education, of course, the National Safety School Response Coordination Center have come up with the idea of sanctioning schools that are not following the guidelines. And we know that a lot of schools, in fact, starting from maltreating students and parents going from their house to fight teachers, all of those things should be in the guideline, I suppose, and they are saying that they're going to sanction. How are they going to make this happen? Because you have thousands of schools in Nigeria.
Well, I don't really know what that National School Safety policy contain, as I've not seen the document before. But the truth is that school safety policy is long overdue, given the myriad of insecurity challenges across the country. And even if you remove the insecurity challenges around the country, given what has happened in schools all over the world, you have heard of school shootings in America, in UK, and some other places. So it's only wise that we start thinking of security around the school. But my challenge with this is the guy who spoke said the policies are not legally enforceable yet he's talking about sanction. How can you sanction something? So I think energy should be channeled to, if it means legislating on it, to make it something that is legally binding on schools. The truth is, it's not legally enforceable. There are some schools that will never implement it, especially if it is going to take a kobo out from their purse, especially if it is not going to bring a kobo into their account. They will not enforce it. But when it becomes legally enforceable, then you can talk of sanctioning those who fail to implement it. But school safety policy is a necessity, given how the world has turned out.
So don't you think this this came on time so that people will not say you didn't tell us about the school policies, we didn't know about this, so that's why we keep doing it, because they are very much aware. That's why they came up with the idea that it's not yet implemented. I mean, you don't give people warning before you implement something. You don't give people warning after implementing something. You give them warning before implementing so that they will know about it.
No, it's not about the warning. Now, my concern is he said it is not legally enforceable now, yet he talk about sanction. It's not something that is not backed by law, except I don't know how you can sanction something that is not backed by law. Those that violate would definitely challenge you in court, and since it is not backed by law, you can't enforce it. So there should be effort to make it enforceable by law. That way you can enforce schools, because you can't overrule the importance of school safety in schools at all levels in Nigeria, given the security issues that has happened around schools, both in Nigeria and outside Nigeria. There is need to have securities around schools.
Okay, so they actually talked about direct form of intervention, and they talked about immediate approaches when things happen. Of course, that is not big enough for people to do. And direct intervention, you know that a lot has been going on. Students, like I said before, Elia mentioned, maltreating their teachers, and teachers maltreating students, and all of those things happening. So most times they don't get quick intervention. And even in schools, you see a parent who come from their house and mess teachers up, and then the school authority will not do something fast, will not do something immediately. And you know that in most of these schools, they do not have security personnel. You know
or
that.
they have gatesmen who are not empowered.
Who are not empowered. The gatesmen
to forestall insecurity.
If you ask or if you check, majority of them are not professionals. They are just people they employ, a normal
to keep the gates.
Yeah, just to keep the gates closed and open. And then there are some students that will see